Start with the Mangaluru. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति सपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरू श्रीयुत्पदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सागररघुनाथन्वतीमं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सागरललिता श्रीविशाखामितांश हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वमानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णविष्णुपुत्रे श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाशादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओके so Hare Krishna. I welcome you again to chapter 3. We'll just wait for 2 minutes, I guess. Whatever please may come.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Hare Krishna Mataji. We will start with the revision. If any internet connection breaks, Mataji, please stay again, join again because there is some issues. I'm joined remotely, so that might happen a bit in between. Okay,
ओके
so
प्रभु।
yes, Hare Krishna Mataji. So basically, we had discussion on all the 5 topics in the chapter 2 of the dilemma related to the Arjuna on compassion, enjoyment, fear of full reaction, destruction of family, has given the answers to the soul, right? There is always gain with no enjoyment, but you win, then you go to the you basically have you enjoy the earthly kingdom or you go to the heavens. Thirdly, you become there is no sinful reaction if you have fight Krishna and win Krishna consciousness, and one can one basically you have to set an example, right? There should set an example. There was fear of destruction of family dynasty, but you must set an example. So that was said. And for indecision, be asthita pragna, be buddhi yogi, nishkam karma is recommended by the Krishna. Right. So yeah, but so we yesterday we did from 3.1 to 3.9. That what are the what is the confusion? First in the chapter 2 there was the answers to the Sankhya Yoga also. Wait, no. So basically there was the nine shloka we dealt with the confusion between the and the Nishkam Karma Yoga. Okay. My child is disturbing a bit. So we dealt with the nine shlokas basically. The nine shlokas were the related to the confusion of Arjuna that which work to do. Do I need to do do I need to do renunciation or Nishkam Karma Yoga? So we learned about the and please give me please give me direction ekam vada. It tells that you tell me one this way or the other way, right? The ekam vada, please tell me which way I have to go, renunciation path or the the nishkam, do a nishkam karma path. So he was thinking that both are different, but he was thinking that Buddhi Yoga is being intelligence. By intelligence, he needs to avoid the fight, but that was not the case. But still, Krishna is, saying, basically, Krishna is saying him to fight also, right? Both cannot be one hand because he is mixing the Buddhi Yoga with the intelligence, right? So this is the clarification, which is he is demanding. So we started with the Nishkam Karma Yoga part, and with the basically Lord say to the Arjuna that there are two kinds of men, right? Who are one which are basically inclined towards empirical philosophical speculation. Others are basically do their work through devotional services, right? So which is better? The devotional service is better. Buddhi yoga is always better because there is surety of success. We learned that. And not because whatever you are doing, you should be done in the service of the Krishna only. That will that will lead to the basically spiritual realization. So that was the part we learned, that not merely by abstaining work can one achieve freedom from reaction, nor by reaction alone can one attain the perfection, right? So both the ways, the renunciation should be renunciation should be with the attachment. The renunciation of attachment should be done. Neither the nor the work should be not renunciated, because whatever work you are doing can be used for the service of the Lord. If it can be used for the service of the Lord, then it is not there is no attachment to that. It is very necessary. We basically try to do everything, whatever there is, the utility to work for Krishna consciousness. And then Krishna says that everyone is forced to act. He is forced to act, helplessly, because three modes of material nature is there. So the force of the three modes of nature is very high, right? It's very yes, because it drives you from various the fruits of the various tree. So basically, therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. So you have to do the three modes of material nature will be engaged in something. Either the sato guna will be engaged, either the rajo guna will be engaged, or either the tamo guna will be engaged. So any one the mode of or the mixture of the mode will be engaged. So you have to do some activity. So it's better you do in the sato guna activity, and that to dedicate it to the Krishna. Right, so is the active part which needs engagement, right? If you do not engage in because do not engage, then what will do if you are not doing anything, sleeping also, that is also active. So tamoguna is active. So because basically your soul needs, it's an active thing, right? So it is by nature it is active. So it should be it should be always engaged. Where it should be engaged, it's in Krishna consciousness, because a little percentage, if you increase for the by the 1% also, we learned in the second chapter also that if you start did bhakti only 1%, then you will start from the second percent. So that is perspective one must have, right? And one must basically not be a mithyachara, right? Mithyachara should not be mithyachara uche, right? Because one who is is contemplating on the sense objects, right? Okay, this is good, this is bad, in his mind, you can see this picture that we learned from the picture, that having a geruva bus and then holding a cigarette. So his mind is basically in totally into the sense gratification only. So now how can he basically can he a sadhu is not a sadhu because he has not renunciated all the activities. Either else what he has done, rather he is basically he's a basically a burden to the society, right? Because he is doing nothing to the society, he is giving nothing to the society. So such a person is just a burden to the society, it's a parasite to the society, right? Because they are basically doing nothing, and that to teaching false things they are teaching. So they becomes rather burden. Then we learned that on the other hand, if a sincere person tries to control the active senses by mind, right? If tries to control, right? He tries to control by mind and begins karma yoga. At least not the karma kanda. You start from the karma yoga. Just just don't worry about your results. Don't worry about results. Give it to the Krishna. In Krishna, without attachment, he is by far superior, right? So he is saying that Krishna is saying that he is by far superior, right? The one who controls his senses by the mind, right? So there are various, varnashramas. There, pretender is, basically mind, will, sense object. We learned that, and his philosophy has no value. What happens at the end for such persons? Basically, knowledge is stolen by the energy of the Lord, right? This happens for the such person who are just a pretender, right? Even if they are pretending, right? What will happen to them? The knowledge will be stolen by illusionary energy of the Lord, the Maya, right? So all their work will be in vain. Futile efforts will be there. Rather, for the sense enjoy, what one can do, follow the Varnashrama Dharma, right? Social order, various brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasa. Follow rules and regulations, right? Gradual purification, right? Slowly, the purification will occur because you are following rules and regulation, whatever he is saying. Because Krishna is saying something to you, right? Because you want to get purified, you want to meet him, then you have to follow the order, right? If you follow the order, what will happen? You will be purified. Once you purified, you will go there. Because why we cannot see Krishna is it's simple as that because we are not qualified, right? We are not just qualified, right? For example, you want to go into the space, right? And you say to the go to the ISRO, and you say that I want to go to the space. They will say, dear, you are not yet qualified. You have to become qualified, go to throughout a training of 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, right? Then you will become a qualified, right? So sacrifice, vairagya, and everything, the vairagya should be said, abhyasin should be said, so practice should be there, some karma is associated with that, right? So gradual purification occurs, right? You chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, you do follow the rules and regulations, right? Then Krishna will be pleased, then his mercy will come, then you will become qualified. Because if we go there now, we will make chaos. Because Krishna doesn't want that. His devotees are already there. Now anyone comes who has anger, greed, and lust, what will happen? He will basically, or she will basically make the chaos over there, right? The chaos will be there with the mind. Because the mind is in the mame vamsha jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana mana sanstani indrani prakastani karshati, right? Mana sanstani, because the mind, because all the jiva are basically part and parcel of the Lord, right? But they have forgotten. So why they are forgotten? Because the three modes of material nature, and that too about the five senses, the mind, right? The six senses, the mind is the the main thing, who is basically bringing you back again and again to this world, right? And we need to control it. How? Through the senses, right? Engaging in Krishna consciousness. How? By the karma yoga. So you become a superior person, you will be pleased by this shloka. Krishna basically tells person who is a bhakta, who is trying to become a bhakta, he is telling that he is the bypass superior who is trying to control his senses, right? So you perform your duty. So it is better than not working, right? Inaction is not recommended, right? So one cannot even maintain one's physical body without work, right? If you keep on eating, and you don't do any work, you will become obese, right? What will happen? Even if you are chanting and you keep on eating the prasada only, what will happen? You will become obese only. It will not happen like you are chanting Hare Krishna. Rather, aprad will be there, right? Aprad. The seventh aprad is there, you know taking doing sinful activities on the strength of on the strength of Hare Krishna mantra, right? Or that is the Vaishnava aparadha. It becomes rather aparadha, because you are chanting and you are thinking that you there the aparadha will you are doing sinful activity. No, that is aparadha. Basically that will not go. That is more dangerous. So that has not to be done, right? Then we learned in the 3.9 shloka that work done as a sacrifice, they bhoktaram yajnatapasam, right? He is the sacrifice. All work should be done for the sacrifice for Vishnu, has to perform. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Rather, because else you will have some good and bad reactions to it, and you will have to come again and again to get the results of those reactions. Just to avoid that, do everything in Krishna consciousness, right? So therefore, son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way you will always remain free from bondage, right? So this part we did till and then the last class we did this, you know, act under the we learned about the yoga ladders also. These three ladders we learned that there were three ladders. There is extended yoga ladder. Firstly you are in the animal life, right? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. This all animal is also doing. We are also doing. What is the difference, right? The intelligence is the difference. Then you come to karma kanda, right? Start working. Work is worship. You come to the at least at the age as a donkey worker, we at least start from there, the karma kanda part, right? Do work and want the results also. Sakam karma yoga, now you become greedy. One becomes greedy also. You have some interest also, some has interest also. Doing karma kanda is only doing the work, not nothing more, and taking the results. Sakam karma yoga becoming greedy, right? Have self interest, right? Then one comes to the Nishkam Karma Yoga. Nishkam Karma Yoga, what happens? Basically, he surrenders all the results of the fruits of the activities, right? Then one comes to gradually uplifts, right? He gets the jnana that he is not the body, he is the soul. So no work in that. Then one comes to the stage of Ashtanga Yoga, Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi, right? These 8 stages of mystic yoga, one gets to that state and one reaches the ultimately realizes the Bhagavan and the Bhakti Yoga starts, right? He realizes Paramatma and the Bhakti Yoga starts, say, okay, there is the God. Then he starts the Bhakti Yoga, right? Second is progressive yoga later, right? You come to the Karma Kanda, Sakam Karma Yoga, right? That doing for self-interest. Then one comes to the rules and regulations, Sadhana Bhakti, Nishkam Karma Yoga, right? Both go hand in hand. That following rules and regulation also, Nishkam Karma Yoga also, right? And then one is elevated to the Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti, right? Or you can take express elevator, what? That you are earlier in the animal life, and you become surrender and association of pure devotees, sadhu sangha is there. Then you come to the platform of sadhana bhakti, right? Sadhana bhakti is following rules and regulation, following the orders of spiritual master, and directly you come to the state of bhava bhakti, prema bhakti, just like Prahlad Maharaj, right? There is direct prema bhakti, direct bhava bhakti, prema bhakti, right? So we need express elevator, right? Because age is very less. So we come to the second part, that section 2, that from karma kanda to karma yoga, right? How to go from karma kanda to karma yoga. So if a person is too attached to material life and cannot perform nishkam karma yoga, for them Krishna prescribes the yoga ladder from the lowest rung and gradually moving higher from karma kanda to karma yoga, right? Gradually one can go if one is not too attached. Bhogeshwarya prasakta naam thaya, taya partha chetasam व्यवसायत्मका बुद्धिर समाधो न विद्यते, because व्यवसायत्मका, because one who is too much engaged to too much engaged to the material enjoyment or sense enjoyment, the resolute determination to do devotional service or to reach the Bhagwan does not take place in his heart, right? This is the shloka that we that will become in subsequent chapters. In the fifth, in the I guess fifth chapter it will come. So what we learn from that, that one who is too much attached to material world, what will happen? The goal of getting the getting achieving Bhagwan, darshan of the Bhagwan, serving the Bhagwan will not be the devotional service. So for them, basically what Krishna recommends, you go through the yoga ladder, starts from the lowest, take baby steps, karma kanda to karma yoga, then one can start, right? So Srila Prabhupada ends all the purports in section 2 by glorifying the supremacy and need of Sankirtana Yagna. Yeah, so best Yagna is the Sankirtana Yagna, right? Express elevator, right? So we will start from 3.10. Saha Yagna Praja Shashva Purovacha Prajapatiha Anena Prasha Vishyadham Esha Bosva Istakama Dukh. Hare Krishna. Translation, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Mataji.
In the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generation of men and demigod, along with sacrifices for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, "Be so happy by this yajna, because its performance will bestow upon us everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation." Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So basically, at the starting of the yoga, at the starting of the material creation, for example, there is a mobile. What happens with a mobile? A mobile comes and a handbook also comes. Automatically it comes, right? So for at the beginning of the creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generations of men and demigods along with sacrifices for Vishnu. So he sends the Vedas also, right? He sends the Vedas also, right? He sends the sacrifices for Vishnu, because in that, what are the sacrifices? And bless them by saying, "Be thou happy by this Jagna," because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation. So here are the Vedas. Follow these rules, follow this Varna, right? Follow as per Swabhava. Ultimately, what is one Veda Sarve Aham Eva Vedyo, right? He wants to say, and from all the Vedas, I am to be known. From all the Vedas, I am to be known. Because from the Vedas, you will gradually work in by giving, Krishna Karma Yoga, being Krishna consciousness, right? Ultimately, you will achieve, because your senses cannot be controlled. Your karma has to be there. Your soul is active. You will be doing something, right? If you are doing something, at least do as per prescribed scriptures, just to know me, right? Ultimately, you will come at the platform and you will know me and live happily and achieve liberation, right? Ultimately you will come to me. So for that he sends all the all the manuals and all. 3.11 devan bhavayatnena te deva bhavayantu tva parasparam bhavayantaha shreya param avapashyatha. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
The demigods being blessed by the sacrifices will also bless you, and thus by cooperation between men and demigods, prosperity will regime for all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here, so now the manual has come, right? So sacrifices has to be done, because the Vishnu is all the sacrifices are to be given to the Vishnu only. So now the demigods, right? Demigods, by sacrificing to Vishnu, who will be pleased? The demigods will be pleased. Because if you want to give, you when you water the plants, where do you water? Do you water in the leaves? No. Do you water in the roots? Yes. Because if you give to the roots, then the whole plant is flourished, right? If you take the food, you get into the stomach, right? From the stomach, all the energy is distributed to the whole body. Similar is with the medicine also, right? So everything, if you give to the roots, what happens? It is spread all over there, all everywhere, right? So if we give to the roots to the Vishnu, then what will happen? Demigods will be pleased, right? That being pleased by sacrifices will also please you, and thus by cooperation between men and demigods. Because why why you want to please the demigods? Because they are the caretaker, they are the manager of the Lord Vishnu. So if you want something, right, you will go to the manager, right? You will every time either you go to the manager. So if you go to the Vishnu directly, what will happen? The manager will be satisfied. They know that okay, you have the contacts with the supreme, you have the contacts with the CEO. So they will be pleased. Okay, he is doing the more important job, right? He is serving the Vishnu directly. So they will be pleased, right? And between men and demigods, prosperity will reign for all. So this is the sacrifice, right? From the Lord, the Vedas come, at the starting of the creation, from the Vedas come. From the Vedas, the duties come, right? Prescribed duties are mentioned. Okay, do this duty, right? If you do, because dharma will be there, artha will become. Artha will come automatically, right? Because in the Satyuga also, what used to happen? In the Sat Yuga, everything was so good that nothing had to be had to be purchased or something like that. Everything was coming automatically, because everyone was following the dharma. The artha was automatically there, right? Everything was available, available. The rain was coming timely, right? Every food was available timely, right? Because the dharma was there. So because we follow the dharma, the prescribed duties, then artha will come automatically, right? For the why it will come? Because after that the moksha will, right? So after that, if you do the duties, then what you will do to the fruits? You will sacrifice. To whom you will sacrifice? You will give to the Vishnu, right? From the sacrifice, what will come? The rain will come, right? From the rain, what will come? The grains will come. From the grains, what will come? The food will come. From the food, it is given to again to the Lord, right? So this is the cycle of sacrifice, right? The Vedas, it is recommended you do the prescribed duties. From that sacrifice, and rain will come, and grain will come, then food will come. You offer it to the Lord. Ultimately, what is happening? You are following as per Vedas, and you are giving it to the Lord, and given by the Lord Himself. So what will happen? The cycle of sacrifice will be completed, right? So by performance of yagnas, all activities become purified, as it is stated in the Vedas. Ahara Suddhau Sattva Suddhi Sattva Suddhau Dhruva Smriti Smriti Lambe Sarvagatinam Vipramoksha. By performance of yagna, one's eatables become sanctified, right? And by eating sanctified foodstuffs, one's very existence become purified. By purification of existence, finer tissues in the memory become sanctified. And when memory is sanctified, one can think of the path of liberation. And all these combined together lead to Krishna consciousness, the great necessity of presence in life, right? So what we are needed currently, Krishna consciousness movement. Why we need? Because why we need? Because the consciousness will lead to the liberation of each and every living entity, right? And for to do that, what we need to do, we need to eat, right? We need to eat everything. So what we do, we eat, all the whatever we make, all the food stuff that is sattvic, we offer it to the Lord, right? For which what happens? You offer it to the Lord, all the sinful reactions are gone away of that, or that food, because in the making of the food, what has happened, the atrocities, given to the the landowner, right? The basically, so what happens to that, basically many pesticides are given, many insects are killed, and lot of things are going on that is killing many living entities. The many sinful activities are already done by, that food is coming down to your plates, right? What we do, we offer it to the Lord. The sattvic food is offered it to the Lord. The Lord basically take all the sinful reaction. What will happen? It will be sanctified, right? It will be sanctified, it will be purified. What will happen by that? We will be purified, our consciousness will be purified, right? The finer issues in the memories become sanctified, right? Your memory, can think of the Lord. Because if you are not doing that, what will happen? The all the lust, anger, greed, all will come into your mind, right? All the lust, anger, greed, whatever consciousness one has put into it, basically what is whatever consciousness one is putting is mixed in these three only: lust, anger, and greed. These are the most dangerous things, right? This will be coming in that consciousness. If you eat that directly, this lust, anger, greed will also come. Now your consciousness will dwell upon lust, anger, greed only. You will not have the time to think of the path of liberation or Krishna consciousness, right? But if it becomes sanctified, if you offer it to the Lord, then you have the uchista of the Lord. Then what will happen? That finite issues will develop, you will have clarity. This lasting greed will not provocate you for anything, right? So for any sinful activities, right? So by that you will become purified. So if we become purified, what will happen? We will try to attain liberation by becoming Krishna consciousness, right? 3.12. Ishtan bhogan hi wo deva dashyante yagna bhavita tair dattana pradhayabhyo yo bhunkte stena evasa. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
In charge of the various necessities of life, the demigod, being satisfied by the performance of yajsa, will supply all necessities to you. But he who enjoys such gifts without offering them to the demigod in return is certainly a thief. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here basically Krishna is saying, all these are given by the demigods. We know that, demigods are basically the managers of the Krishna only. Now he's saying the demigods are supplying you this much, right? They are giving you, right? They are giving you, and you are like, just taking all the stuffs from them, and you are not returning them, right? Returning in through devotion only, through love and devotion. They are not taking anything new from you, right? Physically nothing is good, but it all belongs to them, right? It all belongs, because they are the supplier. They will supply all necessities too. But he who enjoys such gifts without offering them to the, at least offer them. Without offering them, you are not offering the lords, right? Offering the Lord demigods, right? In return is certainly a thief. Basically, you are a thief, right? You are taking the stuff. It's like, going to the supermarket, taking all the stuffs for whatever you want, and not paying the bill, right? Not paying the bill, at least not even saying that, okay, I am taking this, please note it, right? Please note it, this, all the stuffs I have taken. This is also not being mentioned. So, what happens, this becomes that, okay, this is, this is basically false ego, that everything is done by me. This food has been made by me, this grain has been, no, we can make nothing. Can we create a grain, a single grain, a single rice grain, a single wheat grain? Can we create? No, no one can. No one can create. Can one create a earth? Can one create a water? No, it will be created by whatever stuff is present in the nature only. So everything is being discovered, nothing is created. So scientists are just before us basically that okay, this is being created, nothing is created. All the things are being discovered, right? That there are things already present that are being discovered. They are basically transformed from one energy to another thing. Nothing is being, but the creation is fixed, right? The creation is creation is the supreme Lord himself. 3.13 यज्ञशिष्टासीन संतो मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषये भुञ्जन्ते ते तौ तित्वा अगम पापा ये पच्यन्ते आत्मकारणात्. हरे कृष्ण माता जी. हरे कृष्ण. Any translation?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna माता. Yes माता
The
जी.
devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment rarely eat only sin. Hare Krishna.
Right. The previous shloka he told that if you don't offer to the Lord, you are the thief. Now what does the devotee does? What does the devotee does? They basically, the devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins. Because why they by all kinds of sins they are released? Because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice, right? So whatever sins are there in making, in preparation, that food, then coming onto you in the kitchen, whatever sins were then, and and then you start making the putting the love and devotion in the food, and when we make food for the Lord. But before that all the sins were there, but now you with pashpam patram pulam doyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tat aham bhakti upartam ashnami pratatmana. Because if one offers me with love, with love and devotion, a leaf, a fruit, a flower, or water, he is basically, I accept it. Krishna says that he accepts it. So all the reactions are gone. Yeah, all the reactions, all the sins are gone. So because devotees, offer it, and it is, it's first sacrifice to the Lord. So all the sins are gone. So this is the example of devotees Krishna is giving, right? But rather, who others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment, only for the sense enjoyment, only for the tongue, right? Only for the sense gratification, verily eats only sin, right? He's saying that it contains only sin, right? The food is only containing sin. Whatever consciousness is there, there are many sinful activities and making that. So Krishna is saying that it is containing sin. You are eating the sin. But if you offer was which is first offered for the sacrifice, what will happen? All kinds of sins are gone. So this is the clarity for the the food that is offered, that the clarity Krishna gives here for the food that is offered. 3.14 अन्नात् भवन्ति भूतानि पर्जन्यात् अन्नसम्भवः यज्ञात् भवति पर्जन्यो यज्ञकर्म समुद्भवः. हरे कृष्ण माता जी. हरे कृष्ण उषा माता जी.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण.
All living bodies subsist on food, grains, which are produced from grains. Grains are produced by performance of yajna, and yajna is born of prescribed duties. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we learned in the previous cycle of sacrifice, right, that all living bodies subsist on the food grains, right, in the cycle of sacrifice, right, that we need food grains, right? Without food grains, we cannot survive also. So how it is produced? If rains come, then only the food grains will be produced. So how rains are performed, are produced by the performance of yagna. What we are doing currently for the Kali Yuga? Hare Krishna. Can anyone tell what kind of yagna we are doing? Hare Krishna. Can anyone tell in the Kali Yuga which kind of yagna is recommended or we are doing? Hare Krishna. The chat box also you may mention. Bhakti Sankirtana. Yes, Hare Krishna Mata. Hari Bol Mata Jnana Mata ji. Yes, so this in this yuga we are basically performing the Sankirtana Yagna. Yeah, that is recommended for this Kali Yuga, right? So by that, what will happen? The Yagna is born of prescribed duties, right? By the rains are produced by performance of Yagna, and the Yagna is born of prescribed duties, right? For this yuga, what is recommended? Sankirtana. That is our prescribed duty, right? कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विधि विधि ब्रह्माक्षरा समुद्भवं तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्। हरे कृष्ण माता जी। पूर्वा माता जी हरे कृष्ण।
Hare
ट्रांसलेशन।
Krishna Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी।
Regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas, and the Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, the all pervading transcendence is eternally situated in acts of sacrifice. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
So, so from where the prescribed duties are coming, the regulated activities are the prescribed duties in the Vedas, right? And the Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality Godhead, right? He has sent this manual that okay, you follow this, right? Because he is the creator. If you love someone, what happens, right? You follow him, right? You follow him. That okay. It cannot be like that. If you have love for someone and you are not following whatever he's saying, right? Whatever he's saying, you're not following. That is not love. That is just that is just a pretender. That is just a mithyachara, right? When he's saying okay, I love God, but I don't want to follow, right? Don't want to follow the regulative principles. So I don't want to chant Hare Krishna, but I love you. But I love God, right? I want to go to the Vaikuntha, but whatever you are showing. So it's like going to the ISRO and saying I want to go to space, but you know what, that 1 or 2 year 3 year program, whatever you are saying, I will not follow that. So nothing will happen. We are just saying, right? So everything is being mental concoction is going on there, right? So one needs to follow also, right? So it is being mentioned in the Vedas, right? If one follows, then all the everything will be supplied by the Lord, right? Consequently, the all pervading transcendence is eternally situated in acts of sacrifice, right? And all that. So where in this Sankirtana Yagna, what happens? Where how does we offer it to the Lord? Can anyone tell? How does it reaches the Lord? Why this how this yagna is basically there is the basically there is in the there is basically a kunda, right? Yagna kunda is also there. We do the swaha om nama, om, then we chant some mantra and then we say swaha, then the yagna is complete. So how does how does the yagna, this sankirtana yagna, how does Lord takes from us, from where he gets this all, how the sacrifice is completed? Yes, Hari Nam is Mataji. Janani Mataji, Hare Krishna. Yes, Sankirtan, how it is, how it is completed. Who is taking our sacrifice? No, we are just listening. How it is taken to the Lord. Can anyone tell? Lord Krishna name itself. Okay, Mataji, but who is taking? Who is taking it? We are just chanting, right? The Kirtanam is going on. Who is taking it? Okay, Guru, which Guru? Okay, we need to think on this, because it is spiritual, not spiritual master, Mataji. Which is with you, who is with you always? Spiritual master is not with us always, right? We approach him, right? Paramatma, Hari Bol Matari, Hari Bol. Right? So Paramatma is seated in our heart, right? He's seated in our heart. So who is listening? Uddhasthanu Mantacha. He is, he is basically saying Paramatma iti chapyakto. He is listening in the heart, right? He is listening. So we are doing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Who is listening? Paramatma is listening. So we are whom sacrificing to whom? So Krishna is here as a form of Paramatma, right? Shirodakshaya Vishnu is listening. So he listens through Shirodakshaya Vishnu. Right? In the heart, he is listening. So that sacrifice is completed in our ears, and it goes to the, it goes to the, Shirodakshaya Vishnu. He listens. He notes down. Okay, this is, he is trying to do. He's trying to achieve. He notes. He notes everything. Right? Your lust, anger, greed, and everything, whatever is there in our mind. He notes. Okay, he is trying. Okay, he is trying. He's because he wants that when he notes, he knows that he is trying and he wants to come here. So when we get qualified, he will bring us to the Vaikuntha and Goloka Vrindavan, right? 3.60. Evam parvititam chakram nanuvartyati yaha yaha Aghayor Indriya Ramo Mugham Partha Sajivati. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Mani Kandan Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yeah, translation. Okay, Hare Krishna. Anyone else for translation?
May I, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes, Mataji.
My dear Arjuna, one who does not follow in human life the cycle of sacrifice, thus established by the Vedas, certainly leads a life full of sin. Living only for the satisfaction of the senses, such a person lives in vain. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what will happen, if this all this Krishna is saying that's okay, you follow this sacrifice, you do this, ultimately you will be happy, right? What if someone not follows, right? So that is the answer given here, right? If one does not follow in human life the cycle of sacrifice that's established by Vedas until it leads to a life full of sin, what will happen? You're just living a life full of sin, right? All the reaction you have to take it, right? Because whatever food you are having, what is it? It is all sinful. It is all sinful, right? All the consciousness of sinful consciousness are going in there, and you are eating, right? So living only for the satisfaction of senses, you are just enjoying the senses. Ultimately you are doing sense gratification only. You are going to the supermarket, you are basically a thief going to supermarket, not telling the boss that okay, this is the or the on the shop owner, okay, this is I am taking, you have or you pay the bill, by doing sacrifice you do that. You are not doing, you are making a thief, eating the sin only, right? All the reactions are attached with it, all the consciousness are coming, the lust, anger, greed consciousness are coming. You will act as per that because you are already bonded by the three modes of material nature. Because we are bonded by the three modes of material nature, what will happen? All the things that is coming into our mind, we will act on it. Because mind is like, it will thinking, feeling and willing, right? Three things it will do. And ultimately intelligence will guide you to, okay, do this. Then our senses will not be in our control, right? So living only for the satisfaction of the senses, such a person lives in vain, right? So for such a person, what will happen? Such a person will live in pain. So we come to the fourth part, from 3.7 to 3.35, Nishkam Karma Yoga to set the correct example, right? So Arjuna is saying that there will be destruction of family dynasty, right? For that, what Lord says that set an example. Whatever you do, the common man follows. Yet just sheshtas, right? So whatever you do, the common man follows, right? So this will be told by Krishna, right? So in order to set the correct example, you need to follow. So Karma Yogi may conclude, my prescribed duties are meant to bring material reward, right? A Nishkam Karma Yogi. I do not have any material desire in this life, nor do I desire Swargaloka. I know I am not this body, right? So Nishkam Karma Yogi already knows that he is not the body, he is the soul. So here he is basically, prescribed duties are meant to basically, material reward, but he is not, he does not even want the service. So why should I need to perform my prescribed duty, right? So in the following verse 3.732, Krishna will explain why one freed from material desires should nevertheless perform his duties, right? He will say that if someone is at a platform that he is free from all the material desire, he should never, nevertheless perform his duty. If he does not perform, then it's also okay, right? So he will tell this in this shloka, right? And in 3.1826, the answer to Arjuna's argument of destruction of family dynasty will come. So 3.70, Yasvatma ratir eva syad atma traptascha manavaha atmaneva sat santushtas tasya karyam na vidyate. Hare Krishna. Translation even. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Purva Mataji. Janani Mataji. Anyone?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
But for one who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self realization, and who is satisfied in the self only, fully satiated, for him there is no duty.
Hare Krishna. So, for whom there is no duty, for one who takes pleasure in the self, one who is self-situated, right? Whose human life is one of self-relation. He is gone at the path of self-relation only, and who is satisfied in the self only, fully saturated, right? He doesn't, he doesn't care anything just for the self, right? He is gone into the platform. He has come into the platform that he is not the body, he is the soul. So he want to realize the Paramatma, and he want to realize that okay, Bhagavan relations, right? For him, no material desires is right, because no thinking, feeling, and willing of any kind is coming into his mind. No desires, and he is a desireless person. This kind of person, this kind of mentality, this kind of mentality one is having, for him there is no duty. It is very difficult in the Kali Yuga, right? It is very difficult in the Kali Yuga, right? Most difficult, right? नैवतस्य कृतेनार्थो न कृतेनः कश्चन न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिदर्थव्यापाश्चर्यः. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. A
हरे
self
कृष्ण.
realized man has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties, nor has he any reason not to perform such work, nor he nor has he any need to depend on any other living being. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण. So a self-realized man has no purpose, right? Because he's already into the self-realization path, right? If he is self-realized, right, he has no purpose to fulfill in discharge of his prescribed duties, nor has he any reason not to perform such work, right? Nor has he any need to depend on any other living entity. He will not be dependent, right? He will not be dependent because he knows that he is not the body, he is the soul, right? He is not dependent on anyone, right? This is the characteristics of self-realized man. तस्मादशक्त सततं कार्यं कर्म समाचर अशक्तो हि आचरण कर्म परम अपनोति पुरुषः. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी.
Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty, for by working without attachment, one attains the supreme. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So ultimately, what will happen? One becomes a self-realized. No duties has to be performed because he doesn't desires anything, right? And basically, he is already self-realized. So nothing is no, he is dependent on nothing. So what will happen? Without being attached to fruits of activity, one should act as a matter of duty, or by working without attachment, one attains the supreme, right? He is following. How he is following? Whatever he is doing, is he dependent on anything? No, he is not dependent living entity. He's just following. Why he is following anything? As a matter of duty, right? The example, Krishna will also give of Raja Janak, that who was the father of Sita Mata, right? So he has nothing. He was self-realized soul. He was doing. He was as a king. He was Raja Janak. He was he is a king and just following prescribed duties, just because so everyone common man follows, and to set example that as a matter of duty he is just performing. So for by working without attachment, one attains the supreme, right? If you have no attachment, no desires, right, or by that you are going through, then what will happen? You will attain the supreme. कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धिम् स्थिता जानकादयः लोकसङ्ग्रहमेवापि सम्पश्यन् कर्तुम् अर्हसि. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी.
Kings such as Janaka attained perfection solely by performance of prescribed duties. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here is example of Raja Janak is given, right? Just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work, right? Srila Prabhupada has no compulsion to teach to the hippies and the Americans, right? He would have gone to the he would have gone to the intellectuals. He would have gone to the the believers of the God, or the theist person only. But he had gone to the to elevate the because he is causeless mercy there, because the devotees, the Vaishnavas have causeless mercy, and basically he is doing the prescribed duty. What is his prescribed duty? To preach Krishna consciousness, right? Why in the foreign country only? Because as per the orders of his spiritual master, right? His spiritual master has told them that you go and then in the foreign countries. Then why he went late? Because he was preparing throughout his life. He was preparing at the age, such a late age of a 69, no one, no one will try to start anything at that point of time, and leave behind so much, 108 temples, opening 108 temples in throughout the world. That is a much more difficult task, right? So, and that too, what at those time the huge management crisis were there. Some at some places some war, some war is going on. Some places, whatever devotees are preaching, whole temple has been got burned, right? Various, if you listen to the stories, what kind of management he did, for the Juhu temple of ISKCON, he was going to the court, right? And because he has dealt with the, he has prepared throughout his life for that, and then he has gone, just following the, doing his prescribed duties. He is a Vaishnava. Even if he stood at the Vrindavana, he is a self-realized soul, and if he stood in the Vrindavana and keeping, just chanting, Hare Krishna mantra, and doing serving there only, serving the devotees there only, then also he was successful. But he is doing the prescribed duties just to, just to, because he doesn't depend on anything. He had only rupees 40 in his, in his pocket. He went to America, he doesn't depend on anything, was not dependent on any living entity. So these kind of, self-realized person, basically, this is the best example. Similar, similar to Raja Janak, right? Raja Janak, attained perfection solely by performance of prescribed duties, right? Just following the prescribed duties, that also will lead to the supreme, right? This is the conclusion to them. Yad yach achariti shesthas tat tat avit evat rojana sayat parmanam kurute lokas tat anuvartate, right? Yad achariti shesthas, right? Whatever action a great man performs, tat evat rojana, common man follows. Sayat paramam kurute, and whatever standards he sets, lokas tat anuvartate. By exemplary text, all the world pursues, right? So Krishna is telling to the Arjuna, right? Like, see how Janaka has done doing his prescribed duty, by which, he attained, attained salvation, attained the supreme. So similarly, you are a Kshatriya, right? You have to do, what you have to do is follow your prescribed duty. That is, as a Kshatriya, to fight, right? Because if you don't follow, then what will happen? You are thinking about the destruction of family dynasty. But if you don't follow this, if you don't, do this fighting, or the Maharati in this Pandava, and you don't follow your prescribed duty, what will happen? Others will also go, right? Others will also go, and rather, whatever the dynasty, whatever whatever whoever, they will also do the same. So they will follow you, right? So whatever action great man performs, common man will follow, right? So you have to become, you are a great man already, right? You are a great man. You need to do the prescribed duties. So whatever standards he said, so you need to set the standards also. That dharma is to be established by whose order? By the Krishna's order, right? Dharma has to be established, right? Exemplary acts, all the world pursues, and all the world will pursue. So this is the answer to the, this section of family dynasty, which, Arjuna was saying. नामे पार्थश्च कर्तव्यम त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचन नानवप्तम अवाप्तव्यम वर्त एव च कर्मणि. हरे कृष्ण माता जी.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण.
O son of Partha, there is no work prescribed for me within all the three planetary systems. Nor am I in want of anything, nor have I a need to obtain anything. And yet I am engaged in prescribed duties. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So first is, Krishna has given the example of Janaka, and he is asking Arjuna, whatever great personalities you think of, then, you by experience only, you check that, whatever great men do, everyone follows. Yat yat achariti shesthas, right? Whatever great man does, common man follows. O son of Pratha. So now he will tell about himself, right? O son of Pratha, there is no work prescribed for me within all three planetary systems, right? Because he is the creator, there is no work prescribed for him, right? He, from him Vedas are coming. Nothing is born for the Krishna, right? He is all blissful already. He is all blissful. He is just coming here for the devotees, right? Just coming here for the devotees only. He has no work. He has no work to coming into this world. Nothing is there, right? No prescribed yet. Nor I am in want of anything. He doesn't want, because he has all the six opulences. He has all the riches, all the wealth, right? All the six opulences he has. nor have I a need to obtain anything, right? He doesn't need to obtain because everything is only is his. It's his, right? And yet I am engaged in prescribed duties. Yes, it is his duty, right? His duty. He is bound by the duties of the devotees, right? He loves the devotees, right? He reciprocates, right? He reciprocates to the devotees love, right? Whatever love is given by the devotees, he comes and have the loving exchange with the devotees, right? So he is engaged in prescribed duties. What is his duty? His duty is to dharma samsthapanarthaya, right? He has come here to establish the principles of religion, right? He has come here to establish the principles of religion. For doing the, because if it is not established, what will happen? The dharma is not there. Dharma is not there, it will, it will not be good for the society, right? The devotees will suffer, right? Paritranam sadhunam vinashaya dushkritam, right? He has come here to annihilate the miscreants and deliver the deliver the pious, right? So he has come here to do two things, right? Dharma samsthapanam, to establish the principles of religion. यदि हे अहम न वर्तेयम जातु कर्मणि अतंत्रितः मम वर्तमानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्या पार्थ सर्वशः. हरे कृष्ण माता जी.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण.
For if I ever fail to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, O Partha, certainly all men would follow my path.
So he says that for if I ever fail to engage in carefully performing duties, O Partha, certainly all men would follow my path, right? Because if he doesn't follow whatever things he do, everyone looks at it, right? Because it's not like that. Now we will say that okay, no, Krishna used to do the all the Ras Leela also, but we will say that he used to lift the Govardhan hill also. One can lift. No, it is not. We need to follow what he is saying. We do not need to do imitate, right? Prabhupada, you will say that, Prabhupada used to sleep only 10 to 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. We will start also doing that. No, we cannot do that. We cannot do that. We are not yet qualified to do that, right? Because we cannot imitate. One has to not imitate, right? One has to be practical, has to do things, right? He is Krishna. He can do that. He is having, he did Rasila, but can you drink, even if for a demigod, you take Lord Shiva also. If you want, he has done, many people will do that he's the greatest. Lord Shiva is the greatest Vaishnava, right? Many people says that he takes all the all the marijuana, and all those stuffs he takes, right? So we also took. No, it's not like that. It's not like that. He's the Lord Shiva. He also took the poison also coming from the ocean, right? So that is more difficult, right? That is more difficult. Everything is coming out of, poison is coming from the, the Sagar Manthana, right? And then he drank all of it. We can't do that. We cannot even have a single, a single drop of poison also. But he took all the poison from the ocean also, right? It's not like that. He is basically he's the Lord for the all the Tamoguna person, right? He doesn't take anything. He is bereft, of all those things, right? So what happens? Whatever Krishna will do, everyone will follow. So he has come here to establish the principles of religion. So dharma samsthapanamana. He is basically come here for that. If he does that, then what will happen to the society? Everyone will follow, right? उत्सीदेयुर इमे लोका न कुर्यम कर्म चेदहम संकरस्य च कर्तास्याम उपनहनियम इमा प्रजाः. हरे कृष्ण माता जी.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी.
If I did not perform prescribed duties, all this world would be put to ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. What will happen if he does not follow prescribed duties? Then all the world will be put to ruination, right? No one will be there to protect the devotees, right? Right? Vinashaya to dushkitam, right? Who will do the vinashaya to dushkitam, right? Who will do that, right? who will do? I will be the cause of creating unwanted population, right? He will the cause, because he is the cause of all causes. He is the sarva karana karanam. He is the cause of everything. He is the cause of all causes. So he will be the cause of creating unwanted population. I would be thereby destroy the peace of all living entities, right? So he will be said that okay, he destroyed because he does not follow his prescribed duties. So it means Krishna himself is following the prescribed duties. Then how can Arjuna, you cannot follow? So he is saying like that, that I need to also do that. 3.25 Sakta karmani avidman avidvamso yatha kurvanti bharata kuryad vidvams tatha shakta chikeshur loka sangraham. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
As the ignorant perform their duty with attachment to results, the learned may similarly act, but without attachment for the sake of leading people on the right path. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji. So, what is the changing between the two persons? You are going to the duty and your friend is also going to the duty, right? I am going to our friend is also going, right? What is the changing? The main change is thing changing, that one is performing with attachment to the fruits of the activities, right? And one is performing without the attachment, right? If one is performing without the attachment, what will happen? He will be on the right path for the sake of leading people on the right path, right? So ignorant person is basically attached to the all the things, right? He is attached and he doesn't know that it is basically temporary, right? It is temporary. Whatever attachment is there of the money, whatever attachment is there of the lust, whatever attachment is of the anger, whatever is there, lust and lust and greed, whatever is there, ultimately it is all temporary, right? It is temporary. So one is attitude changes, right? The attitude changes. The ignorant is basically perform duties with attachment to results, but the learned similarly act without attachment. He has no attachment for the sake of leading people to the right path. Just to show that okay, I am just doing this for my following the prescribed duties, not for anything for the gain. Nothing is already mine. So what is the difference between the learned, ignorant, the desire? The difference in desires, right? One is doing for the satisfaction of the Krishna, the senses, right? One is, eating prasada, right? Eating prasada by offering to the Lord, then he is eating, right? Worshipping, remembering. Every time what is happening, he is trying to remember the Lord, right? He is trying to remember the right Lord, right? So work without attachment to fruits, fruits, results of the work, right? The results of the work, the fruits we don't want, right? So that is the case. Why? To set an example and lead people on the right path. By doing that, what will happen? People will see, the you when I came to the Krishna consciousness, before that there was this officer, and we went to we went to the some foreign tour, and he used to start chanting in at 4 o'clock, right? So at 4 o'clock, start chanting in those in the foreign countries also. So he used to follow the all the regulative principles. He used to use acharan is there, basically acharan is there. And and I used to sleep at 12 o'clock, at around that, right? And you start chanting, timely chanting, he used to chant, right? So you see the acharan, right? He's acharan. He is not bounded by that. He is not bounded by that. But he is just following the orders of the spiritual master. Right, he is just following the orders of the spiritual master, right? That one needs to do, chanting. One needs to do chanting. One needs to, so he is trying to set an example that okay, this is the path of a devotee. One devotee has to be like, one needs to be a gentleman, right? A gentleman. If one does not become a gentleman, then what will happen, right? So acharan is there, so that it is to set an example, right? So that's why Krishna is yat yat acharati shreshthas, right? So whatever acharan you do, all will follow, right? If you show this, because if you say that okay, in my family no one is following Krishna consciousness, right? For example, many devotees says this, okay, I am following, by mother is not following, I am following but my husband is not following, I am following but my wife is not following, right? This happens, right? My son is not following, whatever there is. But you show, you take by the example, you do not disturb. Even the Krishna says that you not disturb, right? Do not disturb to them, just do your work, right? What? Because gradually what will happen after some time, you will see the change in you, because there will be changes, right? There will be changes. If one sees the positive changes in you, then they will follow you, then they will follow. So one needs to basically set an example, right? Because we are not that powerful, okay, like Prabhupada, that he starts chanting and hippies come and join. They get converted, and that they basically convert into Krishna consciousness. Their mind converted into Krishna consciousness. It's not like that. We are not that powerful. So purity comes gradually, right? But one at least, make an example out of themselves at least, right? So we need to follow Acharan, right? You wear the uniform, you wear the what is a uniform, wearing dhoti and kurta, right, that you wearing a tilak, right, that is also uniform, right? Because by that one will chant at least Hare Krishna, they will follow, set a good example, at least they will recite the mantra, right? It will say at least one time Hare Krishna, that is also beneficial. So what does ignorant person does? Satisfaction of one's own sense. Always dwelling upon sense gratification. So work with attachment to fruits. And by this I will buy that. By this I will buy that. By this I will buy that. Ultimately one will die. No, nothing is going to get something out of it. So na buddhi bhedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam joshayat sarva karmani vidvan yukta samacharan. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant men attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties, a learned person should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here Krishna is saying, so as to not disturb the minds of ignorant men, right? You should not disturb them. Attached to the future results of prescribed duties. A learned person should not induce them to stop work. You keep doing your work, right? You should not stop work. Rather, by working the spirit of devotion. Rather, show them what is devotion, right? Rather, show them. He should engage them in all sorts of activities. For example, the credits has to be earned, right? Ramanuja Das in Bhagavatam class, the morning Bhagavatam class, he says that uh, just because someone is not no credits, that's why they are not basically coming into Krishna conscious, right? So for example, you start worshipping in in your home, you start worshipping, and you need the flower, right? You need the flower. You ask your brother, bring some flower from the garden, bring some flower from the market, to offer it to the Lord, right? You He brings, you only offer, but some devotional services added to it. The it was the service was transcendental. Some positive, the some pious thing, some pious reaction will come out of it. It's transcendental. The mercy of the Lord will be getting there, right? With that positive credit, with that Krishna conscious credit, what happens, gradually one comes to the platform of Krishna conscious, right? By eating the prasadam itself from the ISKCON, one gets converted to the one gets come to the Krishna conscious moment, right? Many devotees in our temple also, ISKCON Mangaluru, some are, many are like that. Many are in ISKCON are like that, in fact, that only coming to the Sunday prasadam parts, and just chanting, sometimes not chanting, and just coming for the prasadam. Only the aim was to have prasadam on the Sundays, right? That is the only aim. Coming into the ISKCON, many devotees have joined a full time to the ISKCON, right? Full time to the ISKCON, right? They were working also, they were joined full time also. So this is the this is the power, one gets the credits, and ultimately coming to the Krishna consciousness, one elevates to the level of Krishna consciousness. Realization is comes. Basically, the realization starts coming. 3.27, most important shloka. Prakrte kriya manani gune karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudhatma karta hamiti manyate. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are inactually carried out by the three modes of material nature, right? So here is saying that Prakriti Kriya Manani, all these activities are doing by whom? Material modes of nature, right? If one is saying, Prabhuji, I have done this, Mataji, I have done this, you see, I have earned so much, I have earned so much, no, it's not true. The three modes of material nature has done it. The spirit so bewildered by influence of false ego thinks himself the doer of activities, right? Rather, who is doing it in actuality? It is carried out by the three modes of material. You are just the desireful person. One is just desiring, okay, I want to do this, but ultimately it is done by the three modes of material nature. You are not the doer, right? Karta ahankara vimudatma. Who are we? We are vimudatma. What are we? Bewildered by? By the influence of false ego, ahankar, false ego. We have ahankar. By that, he assumes karta ham iti manyate. He assumes that I am the doer. Rather, who it is done by? Prakrte kriyamanani, gurai karmani sarvasa, gunai. All the gun, the three modes of material nature, the three modes of material nature has done it, right? 3.2 तत्त्ववित्यु महाबाहो गुणकर्म विभागयो गुणगणेषु वर्तन्ता इति मत्वा न सज्जते. हरे कृष्ण माता जी.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी.
One who is in knowledge of the absolute truth, who mighty armed, does not engage himself in the senses and sense gratification, knowing well the difference between work in devotion and work for fruitive results. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, who is in absolute truth, right? Who has the knowledge of the absolute truth? Absolute truth can be realized in three parts, right? What is the three parts? The self relation, the soul, right? The Brahman relation, then the Paramatma relation, and then the Bhagwan, right? Oh, mighty Am Arjuna, mighty Am does not engage himself in the senses and sense gratification. He who knows that, absolute truth, right? He who knows he is not the body and the soul, there is Paramatma, there is Bhagwan, right? He will not engage in sense gratification, right? And knowing well the difference between the work and devotion work for fruitive results, right? Because he knows that what is work in devotion and what is work for fruitive results, right? He will clearly know, right? प्रकृते गुण सम्मूढ़ा सजन सजन्ते गुण कर्मसु तान कृष्ण विदो मंदान कृष्ण विन्न विचालयत. Bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant fully engage themselves in material activities and become attached. But the wise should not unsettle them, although these duties are inferior due to the performer's lack of knowledge. Hare Krishna. So here Krishna is saying that basically ignorant man is basically in material modes of nature. He is attached with the material activities, right? But the wise should not unsettle them. He should not go and bewilder them, unsettle them, although these duties are inferior due to performance lack of knowledge, right? These duties are, that these duties are inferior. But the Vaishnava, what does Vaishnava does? Vaishnava take the risk also. He is saying Krishna, but he take the risk, and he knows that it is best for the living entity to come to the Krishna consciousness, and still he at least go and ask him to at least purchase, not tell all the shlokas of the Bhagavad Gita. He will not try to preach. Rather, he will just say, okay, take this at least Bhagavad Gita. At least try to read yourself, right? You try to read yourself, understand whatever you think, at your intelligence, right? Then come to the spiritual master level, right? मयि सर्वाणि कर्माणि सन्न्यासात्मा चेतसा निरासेर्निर्ममो भूत्वा युद्धस्व विगतज्वरा. No claims to proprietorship. Therefore, Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me with full knowledge of me, without desires of profit, with no claims to proprietorship, and free from lethargy, fight. Right? Indecision, the answer is indecision. Right? With no claims to proprietorship, and have no claims. Right? You are thinking that you want to decide by yourself. No, you want to do just for me. You should have no claims to proprietorship. You are not the lord of the material nature. Nothing belongs to you. The soul is only yours. Nothing belongs to you. This body is also yours, and free from lethargy and fight. Don't be lethargic, right? Don't be, try to be giving me examples of the intelligence of buddhi yoga and try to avoid this fight. No, don't do that. Neither. You do not claim the proprietorship also. Nothing belongs to you, right? Just in full knowledge of Krishna, without desires of profit, right? No gain. Just be equipoise, fight for me. So purpose of Bhagavad Gita is surrendered all your work onto me, right? So Krishna is saying is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita is given in the extra T, that surrender all your work onto me, right? यत् करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत् तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्, right? In ninth chapter also we learned that yad karoshi yadashna, whatever you do, whatever you do, whatever tapasya you do, whatever charity you give, whatever you do give as in you do that work as an offering to me, right? This mentioned by the Krishna himself, right? Whatever you are doing, just whatever charity, whatever tapasya, whatever you are doing, whatever you are offering, everything, you think of Krishna, and you do that as an offering to him only. You think that this is I am doing for the doing for the Krishna only, that by this Krishna will be pleased, that you do, right, as an offering to him, right? By that what will happen, by that we will achieve the supreme, right? So surrender all your work onto me with full knowledge of me, right? With full knowledge, without desires for profit, with no claim of proprietorship, right? Free from lethargy fight. So this is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. Not saying that okay, non-violence is the thing that is to be practiced by Bhagavad Gita. No, that is not the case. Bhagavad Gita does not teaches anyone non-violence. Nothing like that is teached. Rather, it teaches perform your prescribed duties with surrendering to Krishna and with full knowledge of Him, without any profit. No fruits you don't want. Neither you are attached to the proprietorship of anything, right? And free from lethargy, right? Fight, because free from lethargy, because one has to do the karma, right? One has to even do the some karma, right? Okay, so we will end here. We'll start from 31 tomorrow. It's 20 past 20 also. Hare Krishna. Any doubt till now? Hare Krishna. Anyone has a doubt in this chapter or any previous ones? Okay, okay. So we will end here. Thank you for coming. Tomorrow also, the class will not be there because tomorrow also I will be traveling. So I might not reach by 7 o'clock again. So from the day after tomorrow, we will continue from the 31st shloka. Hare Krishna. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय हरे कृष्ण एवरीवन थैंक यू फॉर कमिंग हरे कृष्ण